Hi, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of Shagalinku TV. It's a Saturday and a bright one in Nigeria. The US is still just trying to wake up, and we're here. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, and like you all know, we posted out yesterday that we'll be having Miss Chinasa Ude to be our guest on the show today. Chinasa is joining us all the way from the United States of America. She recently launched her pet project that has been in the pipeline for a long while, and finally it came to fruition. And that's why we're celebrating her today. She'll be telling us more about her NGO, the work she's been doing, and what she seeks to change, bringing on board her NGO and everything about that. I know she's passionate about health issues, public health, women development, youth development. She does a whole lot of field work. Sometimes we tease ourselves when we ask ourselves who is more crazier when it comes to field work, because we're always in the field trying to match what is being said out there that it's happening and what truly is happening in the community. There's always a disparity when you look at all of this, because sometimes the figures you get from either the government or even community stakeholders might be different from what you get when you go down to the nitty-gritty of the community. There's a whole lot we'll be talking with Chinasa, so I'd like you to sit back, relax, and join us. The comment section is free. You can drop your comments there. And let me also say that we're streaming in 2 destinations or 3, Shagalinku TV Facebook page, Shagalinku TV YouTube page, and then my personal page, Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari. If you're joining us right now, do let us know where you're joining us from or where you're watching us from, and drop your comments for our guests, and then she'll reply them. Once again, welcome to Shagalinku, the Saturday's edition. We're streaming live from the capital or former capital city of Nigeria, talking about Lagos, Nigeria. And I know Chinasa is familiar with this place. Anyways, let me bring her in to say a word or two of greetings, and then we'll go on to have our interview. You know, I've started calling you Professor. My prof, I'm loyal.
Hi, Ambassador Emmanuel. Good morning from here. How are
Yes,
you?
I'm good. I'm sorry to drag you out. I know our time zones are different, but then we needed to do this, especially with the success of your unveiling. And let me start by saying congratulations again, again, and again. How do you feel?
Thank you very much, Ambassador Emmanuel. And before I answer your question, I would want to also use this opportunity to thank you for being one of the partners and the backbone that help us to get the organization going. I know a whole lot of waking you up in the middle of the night because it's like afternoon in my time or evening ish. But I'll just be like, Ambassador Emmanuel, wake up. We need to have this conversation. And it's only a few people, like a handful of people, you can do that too, professionally or otherwise. So I and my team, we did not take your contribution for granted all through the planning process and the delivery process. I knew you were having a whole lot of activities lined up, yet you made time for us to moderate the session, to contribute towards the planning. So I appreciate that. Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon in Nigeria. I know Ambassador Emmanuel is in Lagos, and I'm a Lagosian, Ekonibajeo, pure Surulere human being. You understand? So is all the combination of everywhere I've lived in Lagos that culminated to the experience. And then Nigeria broadly and Africa that culminated to the experience, seeing things happening in the environment and wanting to make a change. So na pure Lagosian I know the flying flyers. I live there
Ide
for
your body, ide your body.
why you no go there now? You know Lagosha anyway. Anyway where you see am. So my name is Chinasa Imo, as you've seen on the screen, and I'm currently in Chicago. I'm trying to start my PhD program at the University of Chicago, Crown Family School of Social Work. Prior to now, I finished my second master's still at the University of Chicago School of Harris School of Public Policy. I also had a master's from University of Lagos, where I did diplomacy and strategic studies. And but my undergrad it was on public administration. So if you look at the trend, you will see that I'm always looking at the intersection of community policy, governance, and politics. So that's been my core background in terms of academics. And then in terms of work, I've been in the development health sector for the past 9 years in between studies. Started off with, doing grassroots mobilization and organizing, volunteering like everyone who starts the development work would do. And then I moved to the health emergency response with Ebola in 2014 in Nigeria, and then proceeded to West Africa as a humanitarian affairs and communications officer. My forte is usually health system strengthening, risk communication, and just general communication and organizations branding. So besides health emergency response, I've worked with different NGOs in Nigeria and overseas, around managing organizations communications and the programs. The last place I worked before going back to full studies was Evidence for Action Mamaye, first as the communications specialist, and then to programs person as an advisor. So Emmanuel, what else do you want to know? I've worked inside all the Nkoro of Nigeria and West Africa, nation them, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Togo. Someone was asking me, so have you been to Benin Republic? I'm like, yeah.
Is your backyard?
With Okada,
Benin is your backyard.
Trying to bring quality health services to people in rural community. That's my focus and that's my passion. Like, I know someone like me and you, Emmanuel, we are educated and we live in either urban areas or somewhere close to where we can have access to healthcare services and other social amenities. But there are people who in their entire life they've never seen health facility, and those people they also sick, they also get sick, and who provide care to them. So I've been trying to make sure that the combination of direct intervention and policy, that primary healthcare services will be strengthened to people living in such situations, so that they will have access to healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. The program is on, and we're having our special guest, Chinasa, all the way from the USA. And if you want to join us or drop a comment for her, please go to the comment section, drop a comment for her, and then we'll take it up from there. I'd like to bring back Chinasa again. Before we come back to talk about SieDi-Hub, what was that passion that brought you into community work? Because a lot of times our colleagues still look at us with strange eyes that, I mean, you guys have been there, you've done that. Why are you guys always passionate about going to the field? Why are you guys crazy about putting figures, putting faces to the statistics and all of that? My colleagues in the media house can't seem to understand when I'm jumping into one rural area to look at what is affecting children or women, and they're like, but you are a broadcaster. I mean, what else do you want? And I'm sure you get all of that too sometimes, especially even with unveiling your own organization. People will be like, but you are about to be a professor. What are you still doing with having an NGO? And they look at us like crazy people. So what was the passion for you when you started?
Thank you very much for that question, Emmanuel. It's always been a popular question that everyone asks me, especially when people don't quite understand what they like. What do you actually do? I know you work in the development sector, but what do you actually do? And I think this is the right time to explain it. So, it's a combination of two things. One is growing up experience. So, I grew up in this environment that I speak passionately about, the rural environment where access to things are difficult. So even though I, like, my parents, were informed, my mom was a teacher, and I had a very steady growth in terms of education and grooming. But at some point, my mom became very, very ill. Diabetes is something that everyone can literally manage on their own these days. But that time that I'm talking about, it's something that was life threatening. In fact, is even though it's highly preventable, but because there's no access to the right medical experts to provide appropriate care, and even the right medication or the facility to receive this care, it became, from a simple thing, lifestyle illness that's supposed to be managed by knowledge and lifestyle adjustment and stuff. It became a critical issue that we have to run, everywhere. I mean, practically everywhere that we hear there is hospital. I remember traveling with my mom from Aba to Port Harcourt because there was a doctor, a Ghanaian doctor. He's still my friend. His name is Dr. Mesa, who have some knowledge about how to treat diabetes. We have to travel all the way to Port Harcourt. And it's a rural community where the man set up a small health post where he treats people. We have to travel all the way. We lived in that place for over 3 months, just because we cannot be moving from Aba to Port Harcourt. And people with vehicle would say, but Aba to Port Harcourt is maybe like 1 hour, but someone without transport, that's a whole lot of travel by road. And the road I'm talking about is not express road. These are rickety roads inside interior village, you understand, in River States where we stay. And all these things, all this experience moving from hospital for over 7 years was distorting my educational system. I had to be in and out of school for that 7 years until she passed on. And having this experience, living in this community, seeing poverty, you understand, and witnessing other people go through the same stress. For me, it was quite depressing because I envy kids, other kids who have normal lifestyle where they, come back from school, someone has prepared lunch for them, they eat and then go play. That was not my own story until I managed to finish secondary school. And at some point when I lost my mom, it became difficult to even pay tuition. It was difficult for me as a child, as a girl child also, to even continue going to school because everyone just looked at you and be like, okay, you are 18 years, please go and marry because we can't continue to put you through school. But I look at all those inequalities, all those experiences, I mold them into a motivation to do something different. You understand? To challenge the status quo. First, the patriarchal system in Eastern Nigeria. You understand? I chose to challenge it by, you know, going to school, by making sure myself and my younger sister that we, go to school, at least acquire proper education because my mom had built that foundation for us. And, the second part of it, like I told you, is when I moved out, from my region where I live to other places, I begin to see similarity of these particular issues in different pockets of other communities where people without funds, people without, access to things had to suffer because they cannot just see or access quality healthcare services. And that became my motivation. It's helped me shaped what I wanted to study because I wanted to make sure that I bring the combination of governance, like looking at how government can bring change, and direct intervention. How would government prioritize funding and programming for this particular set of people living in rural communities so that they can have access to quality life.
Okay, thank you so much, Chinasa, for that one. Every time I talk with you, I don't ever forget to remind you and still ask you about the Ebola experience. And I'm sure, yeah, and I'm sure if you had your way, you would have also contributed your intervention for the COVID-19 response as well. Knowing that you're someone who is passionate about public health and all of that. Every time I do any interview
I
with you,
actually did. I
oh,
actually did. I was working
oh,
in
that,
Niger State when COVID broke out.
oh, it's
I
true.
helped
I
design
remember.
their I helped design their social mobilization and com strategy.
Wow, that's true. I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's marry the Ebola experience and the COVID-19 thing, because I remember every time you keep saying you wished government would learn from experience. When we even didn't know there would be COVID. I remember I had you on one of the shows and we were talking about your experience about Ebola. And I was asking that what was the preparedness as at then? And you were like, you just wished government would learn from some of these things, because every time there would always be one form of outbreak and the other. So marrying it now to now, how was it like for you during the Ebola time? And how were you able to pull through all the fatigues, the stress, and all of that? And being in another country to start with.
Thank you very much. And I'm always trying to avoid answering you this question, but for whatever reason, you're always asking me this question. Please, after answering you today, can we pockets? All right. So, the Ebola experience for me was life changing, especially because it launched my career. But it was also, a very psychological trauma. I don't know how traumatic experience, you know, watching people drop dead. So, um, I remember last time I told you that what we had in Nigeria was, rich man Ebola. Ebola. It was a fizzy Ebola that came to us. Came on an airplane, landed in Lagos, where, people are conscious, people are informed, they have access to information at least. Even with the chaosness, you understand. Um, we were able to rally around to, respond on that issue. But the broader response to Ebola in West Africa was, quite um, it was quite life threat. It was quite. Let me use life transforming. Let me not use negative word, but moving into countries where everything crumbled, the economy, the health system, even human behaviors, culture, like everything was didn't just work because there was Ebola in town. And the impact, I don't think that anyone, both those who experienced it and those who responded, have recovered from it. But one thing that strikes me is the fact that we could have done things differently if only government hear us. And I remember one time talking and someone says stop ranting. I'm like, why won't you tell me I should stop ranting? You went to Harvard, you came back, they gave you ministerial position or one highly placed office. Like, you've never gone to the downtrodden. So you would call me ranting because I work in this place. I worked in the ETU. I knew what it means for a simple miscommunication to cause chaosness and spread disease. And that is just it. When it comes to public health issues, the first most important thing is communication, but that is the least thing that anyone pays attention to. For instance, when COVID started in Nigeria, you understand, it's simple. Please keep keep distance from others. Wear your nose mask. Those were I never caught any of those things, both Ebola, both COVID. Yet I was in the midst of the response. Why? Because I did not want to argue with scientists and experts. I wear my nose mask. I was even now, if you come to my house, there is hand sanitizer everywhere. You can't walk into my house with that. I'll first of all lead you to the sink. where there is soap and water. Wash your hand first before you settle to talk to me. And if I don't trust, even if I trust you very, very well, if you're not fully vaccinated and boosted, you will not talk to me without nose masks. You understand? But this simple information that needs to be put out in a way that even a common man would understand it without having any doubt that there is fishy something inside, because Nigerians are always suspicious people. Africans generally, you tell an African to wash their hand, they ask you, are you bringing food? You understand? If these things will be communicated in pockets and in nuggets where people understand it, you go a long way. But yet we don't learn as a people. We don't learn also as government until things go out of hand before we start asking who does risk communication. Then we begin to do fundraising for something that we would have built a very strong system, you understand, to respond to these things. So I
Okay,
wish I wish we with COVID
we
that we
learn our lessons. Yeah. So let's come to your pet project. It's been a long time coming. I know we've had conversations too behind the scene where I also was nudging and saying, look, you could do this. You've always done it for others. You've always done it in the field. Lead the way now, babe, lead the way. And here we are. So let me start from the front and then we'll go back to history. How does it feel now for you? And what should we be looking forward to see with SieDi-Hub?
it still feel new because I'm always someone who like to be at the background doing things, and people just see things working without knowing who is behind that. And I mean, I get the satisfaction where I mentor people to do things, you understand, and they go ahead, doing wonderful things. And then but at some point in time, you have to um just pitch your tent, somewhere. So when it's been over like 8 years now, I have been planning to start up a non-profit like SieDi-Hub. And the reason why the organization is called a hub is because I wanted it not just to be the usual NGO thing where, people just come, pick intervention and run with it. I wanted it to be a place where we work collaboratively with other people to identify the problem and then ask ourselves what is the solution. Because the truth is that until we begin to ask ourselves what exactly went wrong, what is the problem, and when we ask this question, we have to put into consideration the environment where we are asking the question, the people that live within that environment, and how the problem we are trying to solve is impacting them. Because when we understand this, it will be easy for us to design a sustainable solution that will suit the problem that they are facing. So, thinking every time I discuss with my colleagues, my friends, even my mentors, they'll be like, so Chinasa, start it. Start what you are thinking in your head. Start everything you are explaining. I'm like, oh, I'm not yet ready. Until I think I'm ready. And then late last year, with the events of COVID, I begin to see more pressure coming from rural communities, impacting on this my idea to start something. And then I also felt that I've had enough experience on ground to begin to think towards solutions. So when I was thinking about creating SieDi-Hub as well, I was also looking at, there's nothing novel on earth. Actually, my boss will always tell you that there is nothing new in the surface of earth. You just have to rebrand and repackage. So I was understanding, studying different organizations that I like, seeing what they do best, and then picking those into my wish list. And at the end of the day, I knew that one, this organization has to be women led. So all of our board of trustees are women, and they are all under 40, because we also wanted it to be youth led. And the reason for emphasizing on the organization to be youth led is the fact that if you don't start bringing young people to the decision board, you understand, we will continue to keep complaining without bringing any solution. Look at Nigeria. We 70% of Nigeria is youthful population, and this youthful population, their brain thinks with the speed of light, yet we are not using the capacity, you understand, and the smartness in their brain to create solution, especially on things that impacts them. What is not impacting young people? When we talk about reproductive health, it is young people that are exposed to teenage pregnancies. They are the ones exposed to sexual and transmitted diseases. They are still the ones that are exposed to conflict and crisis. They are also being used as tools during conflict and even political meandering and maneuvering. It's young people that they give guns. It's young people they approach to cause chaos. So if young people have so much power to disorganize society, why won't we think of them as also the people to mold the society? So those are the two reasons, you understand, for me to create that organization in that way. First, let it be women led, then let it be youth focused. And the whole objective for the organization is to create enabling environment for people in rural and suburban areas to get access to quality services, not just healthcare, but quality social services to build their capacity, to have economic empowerment, to also understand how politics and governance work and begin to contribute towards the policy making processes that impact and affect them.
Thank you for that. I got a message here, and it's from Ibrahim Yakubu Mohammed. It says, keep up the good job. Okay, Ibrahim, before Chinasa leaves, we will also ask her to direct us on how people can also give their donations, people can make their pledges. Money rules the world. It takes money to also solve a lot of things. Nothing is too big, nothing is too small. So we'll have Chinasa also tell us how to get to her website, the organization's website, and then we'll do all of that. Ibrahim, thank you so much for that. And let me also say here that the video will still be here after the interview. So for those of you that are very far off, we know we have viewers from Philippines and Asia. They will wake up and see the videos, and you can still drop your comments for Chinasa, and we'll pass all of them to her. And we'll bring her a second time, maybe with one of our board of trustees or our technical staff, and then we'll still talk about a whole lot more. So as we wind up now, I really want us to know more about the vision. I know you've talked about how it started and all of that. Finally, as you also wrap up, what are your mission and vision statements? I really don't want it technical, but what should we be looking out for? Like you said, there's really nothing novel. Everything that is happening, someone must have done it. So what is SieDi-Hub bringing to the table and bringing more people? Because I am for collaborations. A lot of times you find organizations doing things in silos, because if we work together, we'll gain more ground, we'll be able to do more things. So as you wrap up also, what should we be looking forward to? And are there collaborations, partnerships? Is SieDi-Hub also looking out for being like an umbrella body to also show other organizations how things can be done as a coalition?
Definitely. Thank you, Emmanuel. So at SieDi-Hub, our vision is a community with improved social, economic, and human capital status with equitable and inclusive living standard. It's very simple. We just want to make people have inclusive living standard. And the the focus for now in the next 5 years in terms of our strategic plan is to, improve quality of life of people living in rural communities in eastern part of Nigeria. So we started off in Abia State. We're gonna move to the other states in eastern Nigeria. At least that is what we set ourselves up against in for the next 5 years. And we so the way we want to look at this is gonna be in three-pronged approach. The first one is the use of evidence. So we're gonna do a lot of background research and data collection. I think remember Hashita, who is leading our research for the next couple of months. We'll be collecting data and looking at different variables that contributes to poverty and exclusion for people in rural and suburban area. And based on what that data give us, we will now use that to design how our programming will look. But the major part of the work we are going to be doing is build the capacity of the young people around accountability, around social accountability, around policy engagement, around governance. We need them to know how governance, you understand, is done. And then with that knowledge, we will support them to participate in policy engagements, with states at state level, with policymakers, with the executives, you understand, and even the program officers at the different ministries of health, just to work together in partnership, not to go and antagonize. We would use advocacy as an approach and not activism. So we will work with them to say, okay, these are issues that we have identified collaboratively with you, because in each of our work is going to be with the different ministries that we are interested in: Ministry of Health, Youth Empowerment, and then Women, and then with the coordinating ministry, that's the Planning Commission. So we will work with them to bring out these issues and then use that to engage in policy processes, to see change in terms of budgeting, in terms of prioritization of intervention and implementation. And then the other part of the work that we are going to do is on women empowerment. So we have this program we've created already. It's called Sisters Connect. We are going to roll out that program as soon as we are done with the research. What this means is that we're going to work with both young people and women to mentor them. So we provide wraparound mentorship, but also services. We are liaising with lawyers, within the states that we are working in, to build like a database of legal assistance that can be provided to women going through different kind of vulnerable situation, i.e., domestic violence. But beyond just that, we are also working with psychologists who would kind of like provide some counseling and psychosocial support to these women and young girls who are going through any form of, issues that is keeping them in a vulnerable. It could be personal, it could be, you understand, mental, in terms like mental health, just supporting them to, go through different issues. And then we would also work with the police and, other people that will provide different kind of mentorship, life skill mentorship to these women, both young and both young girls and growing adult women who would kind of like enroll in that Sisters Connect to, like I said, provide wraparound services for them. We want to see that when you enroll and stay with us for like a year, by the time you are going out, you should be coming out, one, as a leader in whatever you are doing. So whether it's business or your career, you should be able to know how to maneuver those processes. You should come out also with a total well-being, knowing when to make the right decision for yourself and for every other persons that concerns you, and also knowing where to get services should you find yourself in vulnerable situation. So that's is already mapped out. We also have the youth empowerment program. This one is broader because young people are quite, innovative. So we are having conversations around, creating a safe space where young people can enroll, come with whatever it is that is their ideologies to building sustainable lifestyle, and then we connect. So two ways: if it's career, we connect you to someone from our network of mentees that we are pulling together to help you build your roadmap towards that career line that you want to choose yourself. Just someone to provide you the right mentorship towards the line that you want to go. For those who are out of school, just trying to get jobs and stuff, would help them to package themselves to be marketable in the economic and workspace, workspace, because the biggest challenge that young graduates face is when they come out, they are half baked from the university. They don't know where to head to, whether left or right. So we would help them, go through a kind of like a process to find out what their skill sets are, where they are strong suited, to contribute values, and then use that to